and this episode today is entitled The Oops Factor, or the GOK Fund, God Only Knows Fund. One of the things that is the biggest part of becoming debt-free is learning how to save your money. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about reasons why you want to save your money. 2010, the average U.S. household saved 3.4% of its disposable income. As compared to Spain, they saved 17.5% of their disposable income. So let's just put that in terms of money. Let's say the average U.S. household income saved $100 a month. You know, that's a fair amount, right? Well, Spain saved more than 5 times as much. They were saving maybe $600 a month. That's a lot of money, and that's quite a huge distance, considering that the United States is supposedly the richest nation on the earth, and actually we quite are the wealthiest nation on the planet. So why such a disparage? Well, like I've said before, we Americans have become spenders. We Americans have become people who want instantaneous gratification. So instead of waiting until we can afford to buy something, we put it on credit. We basically get a loan, and credit cards, you know, loans anywhere from 15% interest to 25, 30% interest now, which is just insane. It's totally insane to buy a TV. To buy a TV, you're paying 30% interest. It's just nuts. Save up 2-3 months, save up, then go buy the TV. It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. So let's talk about the 3 different reasons why you want to save. The very first one is a rainy day fund, or the oops factor, an emergency fund. Why do you want an emergency fund? Well, because oops does happen. Rain does come, or as a lot of people call it, Murphy's Law. You know, things happen. And one of the things Dave Ramsey talks about the most is creating a $1,000 emergency fund. That's the very first step in becoming debt-free and building wealth. Build yourself a $1,000 emergency fund. It's not very large, but it would cover just about any emergency that could come up. Yes, there are some that can come up that it will not cover, but $1,000 is a good start. You know, I mean, you know, back in the day, he was talking about somebody who said, you know, their grandma had the GOK fund, the God Only Knows fund, because, you know, God only knows what could happen. Things happen in your life. Cars break down, kids need braces, kids need dental work, someone breaks a leg, you know. It could be any number of things happen. You know, the plumbing breaks, or you spring a leak, or septic tank backs up. I've had that happen. Family home, oh God, that's not a good thing. But, I mean, these things happen, and when they do, it's nice to have that $1,000 sitting there. Oh, look, I can pay for it, instead of having to scrimp and claw and, or maybe not even get whatever needs to be done because you don't have the money to pay for it. Now, mind you now, this emergency fund is not a go out and buy me new furniture fund, or go out and buy me a new TV fund, or go buy a new computer fund. It is for emergencies only. Car breaks down, you know, plumbing backs up, something of that nature. Air conditioner goes out, and you live in Georgia, southern Georgia, or Alabama. You know, that's definitely an emergency. In the summertime, definitely an emergency. It's an emergency fund, just that. It's not a purchase fund. A second reason to be saving is for purchases. Why? Because you don't want to be paying 30% interest, 25% interest, you know, even 10% interest just to buy a TV or a computer. It's insane. Save up. Take a little time and save that money. You know, computer, just basic price $1,000. Well, let's say you can save $300 a month. Okay, well, in about 3.5 months, you got your computer. That's a beautiful thing. All right? Instead of putting $1,000 on your credit card, and now for the next 3 years you're paying an extra $30. So what's that add up to for 3 years? That's an extra $90. So instead of paying, $1,000 for that computer, you paid $1,090. That's just some basic quick math. I'm not saying that's what it would be, but I mean, 30%, 30% on a computer. No, it's not worth it. It's foolishness. It's stupid. Like Dave Ramsey calls it, it's a stupid tax, because that's what it is, a stupid tax. Okay, so just take the time, delay the gratification for a little while. Because trust me, when you walk into a store and you see that beautiful new TV and you have $1,000 in cash saved up, and that beautiful TV costs $1,200, and you say, hey, listen, man, I got $1,000 cash. Will you give it to me for that? More than likely, they're willing to give it to you for $1,000 cash, because you got it right then, right there, willing to pay for it right on that. You can do a lot of things with cash. One of the things Dave Ramsey says is cash is king, and it really is. You offer somebody a check, they'll look at you like, get away from me, I don't want that. Or pay by credit, and it's like, well, I don't know how your credit is and stuff like that. Offer them cash, and their eyes light up and sparkle. You see these gleams, and ooh, cash. It's a wonderful thing. So that's the second reason to be saving. And the third reason to save is for building wealth. Well, how are you going to build wealth with a savings account? Good grief, they only pay maybe 1%. No. You invest in whatever, IRAs, 401ks, mutual funds, even just investing in regular stocks and stuff like that. Invest in gold or silver, whatever it is. You put money away. You put money away into these things to help build wealth. Now, right now, many mutual funds, they earn you anywhere from 10 to 12% a year, average. Fluctuates from year to year, just like the stock market fluctuates from year to year. But mutual funds are huge groups of stocks. So the thing is, the more you have, the less fluctuation you have, because there's a huge spread. It's not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're investing in several different stocks, usually hundreds of different stocks. Now, you do not do all these three savings at the same time. The very first thing you do when you decide to start becoming debt-free and building wealth, very first thing you do is you need to become debt-free. And the very first thing you do there is you create $1,000 emergency fund. All right, that's just for anything that comes up, any emergency comes up, anything. Now, as you go along, paying off debts and stuff, and we'll get that into later episodes, it comes up and you need to buy something or something like that. Then that's where the purchase saving comes in. You start saving up for it. You put a couple other little things on hold, save a little money here, save a little money there, and then you purchase it. Now, it's not until you're totally debt-free, except for your house. This is how Dave Ramsey does it. Until you're totally debt-free, except for your house, that you start putting money into retirement savings. I mean, who wouldn't want to retire off of, when you retire in 20 years, you got $3-4 million in your retirement account. I could live pretty good off of $3-4 million for a while. You know what I'm saying? I could live it. If you start early, you could have $10-15 million in a retirement account. By the time you reach retirement age, I mean, you could have $10-15 million in your retirement account by the time you're 45. Retire 20 years early, and be a multi-millionaire and enjoy that money, and your family enjoys that money, and you can continue building that wealth on and on and on. A lot of people say savings is foolishness. Why save? That you're not putting your money to work and everything. Well, actually, yeah, you are. It's just, how do you save? You got to know what you're doing. You have to do some research. You have to understand things. Even with that $1,000 emergency fund, you just don't put it in a regular savings account. Put it in a money market account, Earn 10% interest while it's in there. Now, you don't touch it. You just leave it alone until an emergency comes. And usually emergencies do come. Everybody has them. That's why we call it the oops factor. Oops always happens. Okay? Well, I want to thank you very much for being here with me today in this episode of the Financial Freedom Network. Next week, I'm going to go over a bunch of ideas on how to save up for that emergency fund. Little tips and tricks and ideas to help you save that $1,000 pretty quickly. Okay? Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. God bless.